Busy morning here in the kitchen brewery. What we're doing today is another experiment, you guessed it. Also here is just, I've been doing this a long time, but still just got it pretty simple. I divide the wort up to carry it out to the garage because I don't like carrying 6.5 gallons of wort around. What we're doing today is good people. As you know, the Kveik yeasts are sometimes used for lager type beers, and that's intriguing. And I love a good Pilsner and a Helles and so on, so I thought, well, it's still not really summer, but warmer temps before I'm using lager yeast, I'm going to make a straight up German Pils type beer with Kveik yeast. I'm going to use the Sigmund Gjernnes because I think it contributes maybe less strong Kveik flavors at times, and I'm going to ferment it a little cooler, not into the upper 80s or 90s, and just see if you can get you could do this with ale yeast too and probably get a similar result, but just an experiment to see how it goes, to know if you could get like a Kveik-like beer in the summertime. I'm sorry, lager-like beer in the summertime without using a conventional ale yeast or lager yeast with fermentation. Temperature control. So I'm going to the good old 10 pounds Weyermann Bohemian Pils. I got a couple ounces of the German Pearl. The mash is being collected, and as you saw, as I call it, the activator little device here is going. So let's keep it going. So here's the hydrometer sample, actually from yesterday. I'll get more on that in a second. You can see it's kind of has a little bit of richness to the color. After I shot the intro and was talking about fermenting it cooler, I thought, well then what's the point of that? The point of the experiment is to see if it can be a clean result with it warmer. So then my intention was to ferment it warmer, so I pitched it at like 88 degrees, and if it would have started right away, it would have been at that temperature, but it didn't actually start until really this morning, about almost 24 hours later. Now it's 74, 75 degrees. I suppose what I could do is put an electric blanket on it and just see if I could raise the temp a little bit. I don't know, or I could just let it go as is, but it was a little bit of a delayed start compared to what they are sometimes, but it is going now. I'll see what I decide to do with the heat. Maybe I will try to heat it up just a little bit. So I have this cutting edge technology electric blanket from who knows how many years ago, and the thing is ripping pretty good now, and my heating gun says it's up to 88, so I'm actually just going to kill the heat, and to be honest, it'll probably maintain this temperature most of the night. It's in the evening now. It's almost 10 o'clock after the day that I brewed it, and most of the fermentation will be done by probably morning or sometime tomorrow, and it will be then having been fermented at this warmer temperature. So yeah, I think that's maybe a more interesting experiment than having it be at like 70 or 74, 75 like it was. So I'm going to kill the heat and keep it wrapped up like this and let her rip. Hey everybody, and welcome to Chip. How do you like this? We're going to give this a try today. Not only is COVID raging, but he has a baby. So, time is of the essence, and I've got several beers to taste, and we're going to try to taste through them here while we got a chance. Now, first up is this Pils beer I made with the Kveik yeast. It is now 2.5 months old. Refresh your memory, Chip. It was 100% Weyermann Bohemian Pils, and I still, to this day, am a little surprised at the amount of color that it has from being 100% Pils. I thought it would be lighter in color. I did not pull the grains myself. I've commented on this. I made another beer. I made a couple beers, and I look at them and I'm like, I don't think this is the grain that I asked for, but I write it down, I give it to them, they go into the grain room and they give me the grain, so I really can't do anything else. So anyway, it was 10.49 this beer, got down to 1.008. 2.5 months ago was brew day. I did use gelatin because I wanted to try to get it clear, and it did get clear. It's very clear. So, and Kveik, often I don't try to get them clear, and they're usually not. So I think the gelatin maybe did help with that, and also probably just, all this time. So, it was sort of an attempt to see if I could make a Pilsner-like beer with the Kveik strain. It was not one of the strains that is said to be more conducive to doing that. Those would be Lutra and Oslo, I believe. They're considered sort of like pseudo lager strains. You can use them, ferment hot, and still get a lager-like result. This is not quite there, I don't think, but it is less Kveik-y than some of the beers that I make, and I guess I don't know if that's because Chip, what do you think? Is that because I made the yeast drop out instead of letting it linger in there? I mean, it's...
Maybe. It could be the gelatin and the age, because obviously it's not as big a part of the overall liquid solution, literally, because it's pretty clear. I do get I don't know what hops actually went into it, but I do get a lot of orange, lemon, lime. The orange would be the most expected thing from Gjernnes.
Yeah, the hops are just German pearl, so no orangey flavors from the hops.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be.
As far as the malt, it is interesting. I don't feel like I taste much else besides Pils. If it was the wrong malt, it's definitely not. It would be hard to guess what it would be, right? At 100% of anything that's like a Crystal or a Victory or, it's slightly more, it's like getting into pale ale, but it's still pretty light.
No, it's true. It isn't like, oh, they gave me Munich. I mean, it's nothing like that.
Right.
I just thought it would be, I have pictures of beers I've made with 100% with this malt, and they're lighter in color. They're like a lighter Pils-like color for like a smash German Pils, and I just don't know why this one is not lighter if I got that same malt, unless the yeast changes the color somehow or affects the color, and then it drops out and it's not here anymore, but it still changes the color. That just seems weird to me.
And it's not like you did a long boil, like some of those,
No, but it's fine. It's been a pretty good drinker. It's light. It's you can make a light, crisp beer with this yeast that's not overly Kveik-y. I've fermented it in the mid to upper 80s, I believe, and so it works as an experiment that way. But I am more curious to maybe try one of those other strains and see if it's even more like a pseudo lager type result.
Yeah.
All right, well that's.
I like it. No, like you said, it's there's nothing wrong with it at all. To me, it's almost like an ale take of kind of like a Pilsner, like a hoppier Pilsner, except those Kveik fruity flavors that are in there. They're not huge fruity flavors, but they're just enough where you're like, I'm not drinking a Pils malt only beer. But I like it. It's got a little more character. It's not as stripped down as a Pils could or would be, so it's pretty good. The bitterness is nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, the bitterness is keeping it from being maybe that too Kveikiness that we talk about sometimes.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, I think it was an ounce of pearl to bitter and maybe like an ounce at the end or something like that. Alright, well, I'm going to stop this video and get the next beer. And we got a couple more of these to go, so catch you later.